Colonel Ruffs was the Season 5 Brawl Pass brawler, released in January 2021 during the Star Force update. People were excited, since he was a character from the game's origins. However, jumping 3 years, he sees almost no use on the ladder or competitive. So why does no one play Ruffs? I want to specify that this video does not intend to insult your main, or whoever you play, unless your main is Edgar. This video simply serves as an explanation as to why a few brawlers are not played, and who knows, it might sway people to your main side. First, let's take a look at Ruffs' history. On release, Ruffs was extremely broken, with a very fast unload speed of 50 milliseconds. With that amazing unload speed, Ruffs quickly became a favorite at the time. This favoritism came to an end on April 7, 2021, when his unload speed got nerfed to 200 milliseconds. He didn't fall off the competitive tier list, but his play rates fell to the ground. Usually, if a brawler is OP on release, it leads to more long-term retention of the brawler. For example, Otis was not played much even at his peak in the meta, because he was weak on release. And this makes sense. Players are more likely to pick up and stay with a character that was strong upon their release, when the hype surrounding them was so strong. Ruffs was OP on release, but there are a few things that set him apart from the trend. Before I begin, so the part about OP releases affecting play rates? Well, this isn't entirely true. The player base in 2021 was much smaller than it is now in 2024, so his release state may not have affected his player base as much as predicted. The fact that he fell from a fan favorite to a rarely played brawler still makes no sense, though. Ruffs doesn't fit the trend, and he was a very well-received brawler upon release, so the problem has to lie within his kit. And the problem with his kit is that he is an extreme example of a generalist. But what is a generalist? In many MOBA games like Brawl, characters are often divided into two categories, generalists and specialists. A good way to see this distinction is by consulting a draft pick ban format, like the one we have in Ranked Above Diamond. If I'm picking first, I don't know what either team will go, so I need to adapt to whatever they want. I would want to go a brawler like Belle, so that I can be useful no matter what my teammates pick and not be a liability in case the enemy picks a brawler I am bad into. If I'm last picking, however, I know what my teammates are going and what my enemies are going. I don't have to adapt. If I am last picking Surge, then my teammates have mid lane covered, and my enemies are going a relatively tanky composition that Surge does well against, because Surge does well in this scenario and struggles in others. We can't pick Surge first because the enemy can easily counter him, and we can't pick Belle last because there are better picks to counter the enemy. Surge is a specialist, while Belle is a generalist. This distinction can be split into offensive and defensive, forming an alignment chart. Offensive relates to roles on a team, while defensive relates to matchup spread. So what is Ruffs? Ruffs is a lane brawler with bounce shots to even his bad matchups and multiple utility tools. Since he's a support, though, he also has to be good in mid. That's the easiest way to reach teammates. And Ruffs' sandbags help him in mid by blocking shots against single-target brawlers. As a result, he has one of the widest matchup spreads in the game and can play so many roles on top of that. As a result, he's both defensively and offensively generalist. There are a few problems with this mix. A brawler like Surge can more easily defeat enemies he's good against even if he suffers against enemies he's bad against, while a brawler like Ruffs is mediocre against many brawlers because he has to maintain that wide matchup spread. This means Ruffs does not have the ability to perform pop-off plays like Surge does and has to act like a zoner. Since zoner playstyles typically have the best matchups, Ruffs has to play tactically and proactively, and tactical playstyles are rarely ever popular. Ruffs can't rush enemies in 3v1, so YouTubers can't make content for him, so people forget about him. Since he's so level-dependent to create those even matchups, people don't play him, don't feel the incentive to level him, and feel ripped off when they lose. He doesn't get decimated when he loses either, so people don't hate him. And since all his meta relevance derives from the support parts of his kit that are so overpowered by design, but yet so neglected by the community, he will never get heavily buffed, and players will never have that opportunity to rediscover his strengths. Finally, a big thank you to Squarelord for helping me out with this video. Thanks for watching. Watch this video, or this playlist, or subscribe.